Okay, this is going to be a quick husbandry video for the Brachypelma albopilosum, the B albopilosum, or the B albo as people like to call them. Fortunately, I just got a brand new pair in the mail from Jamie's Tarantulas. For a while, I've been doing my husbandry videos with some of the top beginner species, and this was the one that, unfortunately, the only specimen I had of this species is a tiny little sling that I got as a freebie at about a quarter-inch long, about a year and a quarter or so, and now she's about maybe an inch and a quarter. I've found this one to be, I know some people have said they're medium growth species, and some people have said that they're a slower growing species. I found mine to be quite slow growing. Temperatures here in the wintertime are between 70, 72, and 75. I have a heater, so I have a day-night variant. During the summer, though, they're 75, 76, up to 80, sometimes 82, not very often. So it's kept in decent temperatures. This is a species that can do quite well in lower end of the spectrum as far as temperatures are concerned. But the growth rate hasn't been amazing. Originally, I kept them in one of these little vials. I've moved away from those now. When it was in the vial, it was a pretty good scavenge feeder. I would kill a cricket, put it in the top, it would come up and eat it, and then sometimes it would fast for a little while. But it went from about a quarter of an inch to an inch and a quarter, and I want to say I've had it for about a year and a half now. So decent eater, not spectacular, but a decent eater. Unfortunately, obviously, you can't see this one now, so we're going to move over here. So there's actually something on the screen, and this is the female I just got, and I'm already in love with this thing. Adorable little girl. When I did the unpacking video for Jamie's Tarantulas, anybody that was paying attention, I almost stuck my hand out and kind of caught her. And anybody that's followed my videos, I don't handle my tarantulas. Again, I have nothing against people that do. It's just not what I choose to do. And this one's really, really tempting. She moves quite slowly and deliberately, although if you notice right now, she's currently munching on a large cricket, and she grabbed that with a vengeance. So they definitely can move when they want to, but such a cute little thing. You see little hairs. There we go. They give them their name, Honduran curly hair. So this is a great beginner species, and this one reminded me why I promoted it as one of the best beginner species, if not the best, right off the bat, because they really are even-tempered. Now, slings, obviously I've said this before with other species, slings are a different ballgame. Slings are going to be a little more skittish. I know a lot of people read about B albopilosums, they read about some of the other species, Euthyllus species red, and as adults or young adults, they are quite calm. B. smithii is another one that people talk about how calm they are. However, as slings, totally different ballgame. Slings in the wild are often preyed upon by larger animals, so it doesn't behoove them to hang around and sit there while you ogle at them or take pictures of them or whatever. They scoot quickly. They get out of sight quickly, and if you try to reach down and stick your finger in there, they're going to run away from them. So they're much more skittish than their older counterparts. Because I have had people that picked up slings of these species and they're like, wait a minute, this thing's crazy. Well, yeah, slings are going to be crazy. Even my B. smithii that I picked up around 3 inches, she was nuts at 3 inches. Would scoot around the tank, bolts into her hide anytime I open up. Now she sits right out in the open. So this is a species that'll calm down with age. This one's about 3.5 inches or so, and she's very, very calm. She's already done some digging, which I found pretty cool. I put a little hide in there, and today I came in to show my wife and came back about an hour later, and she dug a hole, so apparently she didn't like us popping the top off on her. But I've found, again, this is a medium growing species. They eat well. This one is not molted in my care yet. Obviously, I just got it, but I'll do a follow-up video once she molts because that should be interesting. And again, just really hardy species. I keep mine dry. Water bowl, you can see she filled the water dish up with a bunch of dirt. This one, I just replaced that one because that one was filled up with dirt. I did used to overflow the water bowl for the sling, and you could tell it didn't seem to cotton to the wet portion of the enclosure. It stayed away from it. So this is a species I think likes it on the drier side. I did notice when it gets very humid in the summer, it was climbing up the cages, and usually mine do that when they're stressed for the humidity. So I don't think they're really into the humidity per se. So you're going to want to keep it dry. This one, I didn't give it as much substrate as I planned on. It's got about 2 inches or so of substrate. It is a species that will dig and burrow a little bit, but I will say that she's been sitting right out in the open anyway, so it hasn't, I don't think it's really been a big deal. She dug out her hide a little bit, kind of the bottom of the thing, just kind of sits there occasionally. But for the last couple of days, she's been out and about the majority of the time. I'd say 90% of the time she's right out in the open. So as slings, though, I would give them I'd give them a few inches of substrate. Mine burrowed all the way down to the bottom. And when it was in pre-molt, they would hide at the bottom of its burrow, cover the whole opening of it up, and come out, emerge again a month later after it had molted. So slings, I would keep with some deep substrate so they can burrow. Adults, you can give them deep substrate. I mean, I'm considering rehousing this one because she seems to like to dig, but we'll see. I think she's going to be fine on this, quite frankly. And the more I've read about other people's, how they kept theirs when I was looking into the species, the majority of them just have them with a couple inches of substrate and a hide, and for the most part, they'll sit right out in the open. But again, a gorgeous little species. Definitely one of the top beginners. I kind of had this one edge ahead of the Euthyllus species red because the Euthyllus species red does seem a little more prone to fasting, and that can kind of aggravate new keepers. Somebody that's just getting into the hobby, it tends to freak them out when their spider hasn't eaten for a month or so. And mine right now, as a matter of fact, my female hasn't been eating. She's in a fast. It's wintertime here, so I'm sure some environmental factor, either the low humidity from my furnace running or whatever, she's picked up on. She's fasting. So Euthyllus species red still, right up there in the top. But this one I think edges it out a little bit because of its durability. Very easy husbandry requirements. Less of a propensity to fast from what I've gathered. Great personality and just a cool looking tea. You got to love that little cowlick hairs. So this is the B. Albopilosum. Finally get to do a video with one you could see, because if I tried to do it with this one, it would just be me talking basically to a piece of cork bark the entire time. One more thing that makes these guys readily available, and I'll use this one as an example. They are very easy to come by, very inexpensive. This one was actually sent to me as a freebie, and I know several people who first got theirs because they were given them as freebies. So this is one that's very easy to acquire. I would encourage people that haven't, gotten into the slings yet to try to find a juvenile female or so, just because they're going to be a little bit easier because they do start off as tiny slings and it takes a while to grow. So just something to think about. But if you're, up for the challenge of raising a sling of this species, I will say I'm enjoying watching this little dude that we can't see. I can't even get a leg in there grow up. So B. Albopilosum.